If you're studying anything chartered accountancy this year, then this is just the video for you, because I'm going to be sharing some study tips that can help you be successful. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Zinhle, and on this channel we talk all things chartered accountancy, career, and a little bit of lifestyle through vlogs. If this is something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So it's the beginning of the year, and I'm sure most of the students around the countries are getting themselves, situated at the various universities. Some people are starting right at the beginning in undergrad. Some people are jumping into CTA this year. Some people have just written the ITC, and some people are looking forward to doing their APC this year. On my journey towards becoming a chartered accountant, I also went through those various stages, and over the years I've just picked up a few study tips that I would like to share with you that really helped me be able to stay on top of things, to be able to understand concepts, and to be able to pass my various exams. So these are the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. So I really hope that you find them to be helpful. Before we get into those, can I please just see by indication in the comments if you are studying towards anything in the chartered accountancy space? Let me know what exactly you are studying in the comment section, okay? So if you're doing a degree, what year are you in the degree? If you're doing CTA, let me know. Just down in the comment section below, let me know what you are studying. All right, now let's get into these tips. My first tip would be to make your study plans right now, okay? So most, if not all, of the programs are going to give you sort of like the year overview or the semester overview at least. So by now you more or less already know when your tests are going to be. You more or less know when your assignments are due and when your June exams are going to be. So right now you should already start thinking about what is going to be your study plan, okay? You need to know on what days and what times are you going to be in lectures, when are you doing tutorials, when are you hanging out with friends, and when are you going to be scheduling your studying for. So having a plan from day one just helps you be able to stay above everything, okay? It helps you stay afloat, okay? If you know that in 3 weeks time, 4 weeks time, you are going to be writing a test, then you are able to start now with the preparations for that test and doing it in smaller chunks, so that you make sure that you understand everything that you need to do well enough to be able to apply it in a test situation. If you are going to wait and then only remember the week of the test or a day before the test, then you're already going to be putting pressure on yourself to perform. So let's start the year off organized. Let's start the year off chilled, calm, collected, on top of everything. So you're going to need to do your study plans and your study timetables right now, okay? Secondly, because chartered accountant, I'm just going to say chartered accountancy because there's so many different qualifications that go into, being a chartered accountant. Chartered accountancy has a very wide scope, okay, especially in undergrad, because on top of your core subjects, you're also doing outside subjects such as information systems, you're doing marketing, you're doing economics, you're doing law, you're doing all of these things that require a long time to be able to come to grips with, especially your humanities courses that need you to first do pre-readings before you get to the exam venue, come into the exam venue, and then you've got readings afterwards, you've got assignments, you've got essays that you have to write on a weekly basis. So you really need to stay on top of your time management. So it's very important to have a diary, very important to have one of those, big charts that show you what is going on which day. If you do have the money, it's more than okay to splurge on an aesthetic looking yearly planner that you're going to stick on the wall or stick on a pegboard, and every now and then you're going to be seeing exactly what's happening on what day. But if you don't have the money, you can get free templates of just the month or just the year, and you're able to print that out and put it on your desk or put it somewhere. My next tip is that make sure in your studying that you incorporate practice questions or past exam papers. I know you are going to be tempted to make, very intricate summaries of all of the theory before you even attempt question papers. But listen, trust me, okay? The more you practice with those exam papers, the more you fail on those exam papers, is the more you'll be able to learn. The more you'll be able to learn, it's the more you'll be able to apply your knowledge, it's the more you'll be able to know what exactly these lecturers want from you, okay? And because these cycle qualifications have such a wide range of information, like there's many subjects going on at different times that you need to integrate with each other. There's a lot going on, okay? So it's impossible, as much as they may try, it's impossible that they are going to test 100% of the things you are going to learn, okay? So you'll be doing yourself such a disservice if you're going to spend most of your time reading through theory and then just regurgitating the theory onto, an aesthetically pleasing note-taking pad or whatever, okay? You need to practice. You need to be incorporating past papers into your study routine, even from day one. If you know that you've got test 1 coming up, practice or test 1s. Practice. Even when you're going through like your tutorials, they will always have, as much as they'll teach you the fundamentals, but they'll always have, the questions where you must apply. Make sure that you go home and attempt those questions. If you're told to attempt those questions before you come to a TUT, do that. Do that, because it's going to save you so much time, and you're going to be able to retain the knowledge that you have made, right? That you have gained. And when you are doing your past papers or your practice exams, make sure that you are doing them under exam conditions. You literally need to simulate as if you were at the exams, okay? So it needs to be realistic, okay? You need to simulate the exam environment so that you can train your mind and you can train your body, so that by the time you get to the exam, it's muscle memory, Practice as if you were there. So this means that you must give yourself time pressure. It means that you must be sitting at a desk the way you would at an exam. It means that you need to have all of the tools that you would use in an exam. So for example, if they tell you that you're not allowed to use Tipex at the exam, don't use Tipex while you're doing your practice exam. I know it's a stupid comparison. It's a stupid example, but you know what I mean. Have all the tools that you're going to be using in the exam while you're practicing. If you're getting yourself a new pen, right? Use the pen that you're going to write with in the exam, or the type of pen that you're going to write with in the exam when you are doing your practice questions. Everything that you want to be able to emulate in the exam should already be in place when you're practicing for that exam. So the things that you need to pay most attention to is the time pressure aspect of it, of taking an exam. You need to pay attention to how you're answering your discussion questions. You need to pay attention to your handwriting as well, for those who won't be writing like online, which means like typing or anything. Pay close attention with your handwriting, because legibility, you need to make the markers life easy for them to be encouraged to give you marks. So if uzobhala ingathi ububhala ngenyawo, as a marking that exam, it's like, no ways. And then the most important component of actually doing the practice exams is to mark yourself. Now, when you're marking yourself, you need to spend almost as much time as you did while you were writing the exam, because the marking component is where you're going to identify what you got wrong and what you need to fix. So when you're marking, you need to be very objective, okay? If you're not going to be objective, then rather get a friend to mark your question, and then you will see what you got wrong. Okanye, you do like a study group where you write the paper and then you pass on each other's papers, and then you go through the rubric together. So that you also get experience marking somebody else's paper and see what they got wrong or what they got right and all of that stuff. But you need to be objective. You're not doing yourself any favors if you're going through the rubric and you're like, look at the rubric, you look at your answer and you're like,
oh, but I would have gotten that.
You're doing yourself a disservice. If you really got something that's not according to the rubric, then you need to make a note of it. Yazi, when we were doing like our little boot camps during CTA, we had a text lecturer from Edge Business School who introduced something called the F up list. Obviously, he didn't call it the F up list. He called it the real F word that rhymes with duck. Okay, so it was called the F up list. The F up list was a database that you created for yourself at the back of your book. Every time you got something wrong, you got a concept wrong, you got something wrong, you got a calculation wrong, whatever wrong, you would put it on the F up list. Okay, so this allowed you to, number one, know what you got wrong, why you got it wrong, because obviously after you've done the whole marking thing, the stuff that you got wrong, you'd go back and revise. So you've learned from your mistakes, and when you put on the F up list, it means that you will never repeat the same mistake. Okay, so if that is something that works for you, then have like a tracker at the back of your book, or have it like stuck somewhere on your wall and call that your F up list. Okay, so that the mistakes that you make on these question papers that you're practicing, you know that you will never make them again. So I thought it actually really worked for me, because the stuff that was on my F up list are things that I never are mistakes that I never made again in future, and it's cumulative. So the more you practice, the more F-ups that you will have, but at the same time, the more you will learn from those mistakes going forward. And then, if there's an area that you are really just struggling with, no matter how much people explain to you, no matter how much you practice this thing, it's just not clicking. Don't sit with a problem for weeks and just complain about, I really don't understand it. Make an appointment with a lecturer or with a tutor and sort that thing out. Do you know what I mean? Like, you really don't have time to be sitting with a problem and not solving it and not saying anything about it, because what happens if that problem comes up in the exam? then are you going to be like, deferred tax is not my strong suit, so I'm just going to forfeit this 50 marks? Is that what you're going to do in the exam? That is so unserious. That is actually so unserious. Like, if you know, for example, I know a lot of people, they struggle with deferred tax. I wasn't one of those people. I actually really, deferred tax just clicked for me one day, because because I take and you know, and it just clicked for me, and eventually I was like, this thing, it makes sense. One day I was like, it makes sense. So if you like, okay, deferred tax is your Achilles heel, every time you see ignore deferred tax, the Lord is on my side, you know. But you know that it will come up somewhere. You know it's going to come up one way or another. So why not just learn how to do it? Why not just learn how it works and go to the source? Ask your lecturers, Mana, how does this thing work? You know, one-on-one, without, you know, the whole class being there, without the pressure. One-on-one at a consultation. I just can't get this deferred tax thing right. I don't know, when is it a liability? I don't know, when is it an asset? I don't know. Like, teach me, teacher. Don't sit with a problem for weeks and months and just tell yourself, if that thing comes up in the exam, you're gonna panic, and then you're just not gonna attempt it. No. This year, it's a new year. We are attempting everything that is within our power. So please consult your lecturers. They are there for a reason. When it comes to like revising the content that you got wrong in a past exam paper, what I used to do is I used to do a quick search on YouTube for that specific area, and I would watch, you know, short videos that would go through that topic for me, and I would make like notes and mind maps, and it would be committed to my memory. Okay. But sometimes the content on YouTube is a little bit outdated as things change and as new concepts come in. You know, you might not find, you know, the specific thing that you need. So one thing that you can use is a site called Campus Connect. Now this site was co-founded by the trailblazer of the year 2023, the winner of Psycho's Trailblazer competition. Is it a competition? It's like a competition for trainees. Yeah, so the co-founder of Campus Connect actually won it last year. And Campus Connect, basically, it's a hub. It's a database of question papers. It's a database of summary notes, as well as videos that explain different content for different degrees. Yabo. So some of the degrees are obviously accounting, there's economics there, there's, I think for most commerce degrees, there's also some law there. For most commerce degrees, you will find content there to be able to help you with the coursework. So they do have videos there that explain the course content. They do have like notes and summaries there that you can download that will help you with your studies. So it's a very, very good resource that is made by people who have studied and are still studying to becoming a chartered accountant. So I'll leave the link to Campus Connect down in the description box. But literally, if you are a student, make sure that you register there. All you have to do is register. It's free of charge. You just register an account, and then you'll be able to browse all of the content that is on the site. I think that is such a game changer, and it's such a good resource for someone who is currently studying. So it's for anyone who's doing undergrad, CTA, whatever level you're doing. I'm sure you can find a video that can help you Kola Campus Connect. Okay. The next tip for me is I feel like it's one of those things that really helped the topical areas stick to my mind. So there are some subjects that have a lot of information. Like for example, auditing has a lot of theory, right? Tax has a lot of theory, especially when it comes to like your cases and stuff like that. So what I used to do is I would take even accounting, to be fair, because you, as much as you have the standards, but you need to be able to apply the standards anyways. So what I would do is I would try apply the principle to real life. Okay, so real life as a student, okay, it would be dating and boys. Do you know what I mean? So I would try to take an accounting concept and apply it to boys or dating or friendship, or what else do we do as students? Like something that you can relate to is what I'm saying. You know, if you can apply an accounting principle using real life, then that means you understand it and you'll be able to apply it going forward. So that's just a little tidbit that I used to do. I used to like come up with these hypothetical scenarios by applying, you know, accounting standards, tax law, all of that stuff. The next tip for me is try to get into a good mindset, because as much as studying is an academic thing and it has a lot to do with like your intellect or how smart you are, but most of it is more about your mindset. Okay, be delusional. Tell yourself that ain't like I'm passing CTA this year. When I pass CTA this year I'm graduating. This year I'm gonna pass with whatever pass mark. I'm passing. Be delusional about it. Do not hang around people who are negative or negative Nancy. No. Limit your time with negative Nancy's. People who are going to complain about how difficult it is. You, why iskolo is a drag. You, why this, always complaining, always complaining, always complaining. You're toxic. Try limit time with those people. You know, spend time with people who are positive, who are going to impact your mindset positively, because it's gonna be a long year. As much as it's a short year, but it's a long year. It's gonna be a very, very long year, and you need to be in the right mental state, right? But as much as being delusional is going to help you, don't be so delusional that you think that you're not going to put in the work and then you're going to pass. Now that's being something other than delusional. I don't know what that's going to be. You know, I don't know what that is being, but it's being something beyond delusional. Yabo, do the work, and then do the work while being positive, while speaking life into yourself, while giving yourself positive affirmations that you can do this, man. Like this comes easy to you. Like, look at you slay. Look at you taking these question papers like a boss. Like you gas yourself up a little bit, you know, instead of, yo, it's a drag. Yo, CTA is this. Yo, akunzima. Yeah. Be in the right mindset. Another tip that I have, and maybe it's because Nandi has turned stationary, but you know, if you have notebooks, separate your courses or your modules. You cannot be using the same book for all of your subjects. And I'm saying this because I know currently there's one of you who's planning on using the same book for everything. Don't do that. Each subject needs to have its own book or its own little flip file or something, whatever you feel comfortable with. Even if you are studying with an iPad, on GoodNotes you are able to have, you know, your different notebooks, your different folders. Separate those those things. Yeah, well, you can't be using one book for 4 or 5 subjects. One book. Kube nencwadi ye-tax, kube nencwadi ye-accounting, kube nencwadi ye-management, kube nencwadi ye-auditing. Do you know what I mean? Like, each one needs to have its own book. Yeah, I understand that. Please don't do it all in one notebook. Separate it so that you can keep organized. You can keep organized. You know exactly where you left off your studying for accounting. You know exactly where you left off your studying for tax. Izinto zakho mazigcwale. If you want to be an accountant, if you want to be a chartered accountant, if you read up about umntu oyi-accountant ngumntu onjani, it's someone that is super A-type, super logical, super methodological, super routine-based, super organized. So if awungumntu organized right now, eventually you're going to have to learn it. You know, this needs to be your learning experience into getting organized. You understand? Uzaba i-accountant enjani exhamazelayo, engekho disorganized, engena straight. Hi man, guys, while you still have freedom and time, learn how to be organized. You understand? Incwadi zakho mazigcwale. Umuntu must walk into your room and incwadi zakho zibe zithe, yabo, ii-files zakho zibe zirayithi, zilalaza, zisithi. Not uba zifike abantu befike zingumvubo iincwadi zakho bengayazi noba which one is which. Your books must be organized. Even if ezinye izinto aberumini yakho are not organized, but at least your books must gcwale. You must know exactly where everything are, because one day, guys, nizobe niphethe imali zabantu, imali ezinkulu kabi, imali ezininzi kabi, and then you need to always be accountable for those monies. And if something happens and people try to pin it on you, at least because uziqhelise uba organized, uziqhelise uba ne-paper trail ne-audit trail, izinto zakho zigcwalile, uyakwazi, you can take out the receipts and prove your innocence. Not that that's going to happen, but senzitsho bana you don't have to get organized if you stay organized. You know, one day you'll find yourself in a little predicament and you're going to need to bring out the receipts and you need to know where they are. You need to know about exactly, and you need to have things documented. Hey, ilizwe, guys. Ilizwe libi, you guys. So you need to learn how to be organized so that by the time niphethe ama-billions abantu, you won't, it will be second nature to you. All right, next, eating habits. Now, for me, this wasn't a strong point, but I realized that there were points, in my academic career when I was, pursuing fitness and eating properly, and that's when I thrived. Everything came easy. And then there were points where I was just not eating as great, and those wasn't doing as well. Especially during exam time, it's very important for you to have healthy eating habits. You eat things that are going to feed your mind. You eat things that are going to energize you, because one thing about exams, they will drain your child. So uneke usebenzisane nomzimba wakho, uneke ucengane nomzimba wakho, and make sure that as much as you're mentally prepared for the exam, you also need to be physically fit for the exams. And then remember that you don't thrive in what you are good at. I think this is a quote or something, but you don't thrive what you're good at, you thrive at what you are consistent at. So as much as, it's a good thing to be smart, but it's an even better thing to be consistent. Because one thing that you'll start seeing on this journey is abo 7, 8 distinction befail. Ubone abo 0 distinction bepasa, bephumelela. So it leads me to believe that innate ability ewe inayo igalelo kancinci, but the driver of your success is going to be consistency and working hard. Yabo, consistency and working hard. You don't have to be the best mathematician. You don't have to be the best at accounting or at audit. You don't have to be a top student. You don't have to be, the smartest person in the room. But one thing about you, you need to be the most consistent, the most hardworking person in the room, and that is going to make you successful in this thing. Not undergrad without distinctions. We were shook when we started failing. I will be honest with you. I went into my undergraduate degree thinking I'm the cream of the crop. Ain't nobody can touch this. I'm smart. I'm one of the smartest people in Africa. And I'm doing one of the most sought after degrees in Africa, in the world. And Sana, life just had to humble me it just had to bring me down a few pegs. I had to learn work ethic. Because naningenayo. I coasted through primary school, coasted through high school, just coasted. Coast, going on being smart alone. And then I found myself in a situation where I actually, if I wanted this thing, I had to show up for myself and work hard, which is why, trust me with these tips. I had to learn them the hard way. Especially the one about consistency and working hard, having a work ethic. That thing will take you far, guys. Even after you've qualified. Hey, jonga nina guys niyasebenza nina. You guys work hard. The chartered accountants up there, you guys work hard. You guys work extremely hard. You guys are not only smart, but you guys have such a work ethic and sana. The inspired Nini. That's why I love to follow like CAs online, or just like career content, because I don't only follow CAs, just career girlies, corporate girlies. You guys work and you make me want to work. You make me want to work so hard. But anyway, I digress. Consistency is key. That was my point. And then lastly, make space to take breaks. Like I said I think it was my video where I was talking about my CTA experience. Make space to do things that you love. Don't be so buried in the books that you actually don't have a life and you're neglecting everyone in your life. Have a boyfriend, have a girlfriend, go out to brunch, go see the world, man. Just have a balance. Everything needs to balance. Ukubone, all fun, all play, and no work is not good. But also all work and no play is also not a balanced life. So balance the scales. Ukubone, like do the studying that you're supposed to do, and then reward yourself with some relaxed time, some chilling time. you know. Make sure that you don't burn out. Give yourself some time to relax and some time to just not think about chartered accountancy, not think about aspiring CASA for a while. You know, go have fun with your friends, man. Like, you know, live, be at varsity, you know. And Shem, I can tell you that I was involved in so many things at varsity. I had fun, you know. I was a cheerleader for the UCT IK Tigers. I did netball. I, you know, went out with friends. Just had fun. Just had fun. But at the same time, when it's time to work, you gotta work. And yeah, I hope you found those tips useful. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week for another one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.